What's up, everybody? I've been lazy. I've been tired. I've been busy. Couldn't make a video. Actually, been real busy with the truck. Shoot, in the last 3-4 weeks, man, I just been putting work into the truck. First thing that happened was the alternator. The alternator went out. I was working, actually. I think it was 2 Fridays ago. I was working, and I was doing a short run, a real short run, and then I was going to come back to the yard and do my my regular run that I do every day. I noticed my truck was charging low, so I'm looking at the gauge, and I had gauge issues before, so here, I thought it was the gauge. Well, come to find out, it wasn't the gauge because I have this little thing. Here, let me show you here. I have that little thing. It's called a scan gauge, and that plugs into your ECM plug, where your ECM plugs in at. That's where it plugs in, so it gets all the info directly from the ECM. So that was showing up 11 point something. So I said, oh, this ain't no good. So came back to the yard with the empty, and I had to take out the next run. And the guys in the shop, the company I'm with, they lent me a voltmeter, hooked it up to the alternator, and it was, it was 11 point something. So I ended up calling a dealer. And this, get a kick out of this, why I hate dealing with dealers. I called the dealer of the truck. I have an International. I called, they want $429 for an alternator. There ain't no way on earth I'm paying $429 for an alternator. Not going to happen. Well, I'm looking at the part number on the one that my truck has on, and it's a TRP part. TRP is an aftermarket part, which is carried by usually Kenworth or Peterbilt. So I'm like, you know what? That's already has on it. Let me call Kenworth. I call Kenworth. They want $189 for the alternator. Okay, cool. I'm taking a load. I'm going south on 81. I got to swing by Carlisle anyway. Carlisle, Pennsylvania. I got to swing by there anyway. So I said, cool. Took off, went, grabbed my load, took off, stopped at the Kenworth dealer, picked up the alternator, drove down the street. Right before you get to the highway, there's a Flying J. Pulled in there, swapped it out real quick, did it in about an hour, boom, boom, boom. Kept going about my business. Finished all my day. I don't want to give up no loads. I had a good week. And those are things you got to do when you own a truck. Especially me, it's an older truck, so I don't, So that took care of that. Prior to that, I had ordered the power steering pump for my truck that was leaking. It hadn't come in yet. So here I am working on the alternator. That was the Friday. That same Saturday, the very next day, had to really interrupt it. So got it going, and then so the following Saturday I had to replace the power steering pump. So here I got an alternator. I just spent $189. Thankfully, I always keep my tools in my truck. Fixed it real quick and kept going about my business. And then Saturday came into the yard, replaced the power steering pump, threw out all the fluid, put new fluid on, and took care of that. I think it was about 4 weeks ago, I had my water pump blow out. Now, granted, I've had this truck for 2 years, and the power steering pump was it was leaking for a little bit. I just let it go. So I finally decided to do it then. The alternator just went, and that water pump, it was never leaking. Never had an issue. And one day I'm warming up my truck in the yard. I let it idle for like 40 minutes. When I went around the back of the yard, hooked up to the load, there sat like 2 gallons of antifreeze on the ground. You looked it up? Here is the water pump. Blew out. The water pump cost me $589. Well, it was throughout, it was throughout the day while I was working, so I ended up just taking it to my buddy's shop. There's a guy I deal with, only one. And he said he'd take care of it because I had a bunch of stuff to do. I wasn't in the mood. And I had to run back and forth to the house. My house is like 15 minutes from the yard, and I was just like, I'm going to keep driving back and forth with tools. So they did that. Took care of the water pump. I was only down for that day. Then I put my alternator on. Then I put that power steering pump on. And the truck's been fine. So last week, and ever since I got my truck back from the water pump, the truck wasn't reaching the temp like it always had. So here, like I said, I had gauge problems before. So here I thought it was the gauge again. Well, no. This thing was telling me, I took a thermometer with a digital laser, put it to the thermostat housing, and here it was giving me the same exact reading as the gauge. So I'm thinking, okay, the thermostat is not opening the whole way. So, and this is why sometimes it's hard for me to just deal with mechanics, because the guy I used, great guy. I've been using him for over 4 years. I trust him like with my eyes closed, with anything. But he has guys working for him that are just not all there. So that's why it's hard for me to just, I can't. It's frustrating when I don't have my truck and I'm not working on it. So anyway, they put the water pump. Everything's going fine. Like I said, I put the alternator on. I put the power steering pump on. Here, a few weeks later, I'm like, man, I'm still noticing my temperature's still not up where it needs to be. Well, I found out it was giving me the same reading, so I'm thinking it's a thermostat. This happened last Tuesday. No. Yeah, last Tuesday this happened. Of last week. And, by the way, today's Tuesday. So yeah, 7 days ago. So, here, I took apart the power steering, called the wife. I said, look, give me a thermostat, give me the gaskets and all that, bring them to me to the yard. I had the tools to do it at the yard. Cool, she made me at the yard, give me the tools. When I take apart my thermostat, on the side of the engine, it hooks up to the head. I take it apart. Here, there's chunks, like big chunks of cast iron shoved inside the thermostat, and it was all bent. Well, gee, no wonder it's not working right. I'm looking at him like, where the heck is this cast iron coming from? Well, here, I have a Cat 3406E, the model. It's a housing about this, about that. The thermostat goes inside that. Then there's another housing. Now, that's the housing that bolts to the head, and it has the hole for you to take the outside housing, and the thermostat goes into that, and then you bolt it to that. Well, here, the inner one, there's two. You got the one with the thermostat is here. Then this one bolts onto the head of the engine, and it's like this, bolt on. So this one has 3 holes, and then you bolt this one to that. Well, here, it has 3 bolts that bolt onto the head. Then it has 5 holes for you to bolt this one with 5 holes. Here, what happened was one of the bolts stripped out. Don't know how it happened. The guy put it in, tapped it with a hammer, cracked the cast iron. Then he took a helicoil. Helicoils, you can make new threads. Made new threads, messed it up even more, put a different bolt on. So that's how that inner housing got cracked, sitting like this. And this is the outside one. The thermostat is like here. And it had the studs here, kind of broke off. All that cast started flying in there and went this way with the pressure into my thermostat and messed it up. So here I'm wondering, I'm like, oh God, this is what I hate. Calling people and letting them know, look, man, somebody did something to mess this up. Because it has a different bolt. That bolt was in there. I know my bolts. They're all yellow. I have a Cat. The bolt's like silver. Call him, what happened? Why is this bolt here? Well, this thing stripped. Then the guy had to helicoil it, fixed the threads on it. Well, great. Well, your guys, by helicoiling and doing something, broke it. The housing. So by then, I had the outside housing off with the thermostat. The inner housing is just sitting there. I unbolted 3 bolts. I take it to him. He's a buddy of mine. I take it to him and I show him. Look, man, look, this crap broke. They cracked this. Anyway, he says, cool, let's go across the street. There's a Cat dealer across the street from his shop. We go over there. The part is for $563. I'm like, whoa. It's a housing about that. I'm just like, wow. The guy said, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're going to figure this out. Just don't worry about it. So they don't have the part. By then, it's already 7 o'clock at night. I got a couple of loads for the next day. My company's closed. There's nobody there. We're such a small company, I can't just call them at that night and they'll find somebody else because they're so small. So I'm like, I got to get this part. Here, the cat dealer has a DC, a distribution center, 35, 40 miles south, 83 south, going into Maryland, in York, PA. So I'm driving down there, 7 at night, to go get this housing, to then come back up to the yard. It's freezing outside, so I can come back to the yard, put it all together, because that's what was wrong. And that's the thing. I only took it apart and I thought it was a thermostat. I was just going to replace the thermostat. I wasn't even going to call him. I'm not that type of guy. I just wanted my truck fixed. But since I knew it was bigger the issue and they had the ones that touched it, I figured they messed it up and they were doing the threads. So anyway, I got what I needed. I put everything back together. I didn't get done. I had to clean up the antifreeze. Oh my God, I had to go get that thing has plugs. I had to go get plugs for it. Back to the cat dealer. So anyway, I didn't get done till like 11:30 at night. Go home, shower, go to bed by midnight. Had to be up again at 3:30 in the morning. So I'm already tired as heck. I'm cranky. So the next day, everything's working fine. My temperature's up, no leaks. I'm like, great, awesome. I got it fixed. Okay. So thankfully, like I said, there is good mechanics out there. I'm glad that the guy I deal with is honest. And he called me. He called me that Wednesday. He calls me. He was like, Joe, he's like, yeah, this is what happened, man. This guy, I took it apart, but I told him to put it back together. When he put it in, he tapped on it because the thread wasn't grabbing. I guess when he trapped it, he cracked it. So that's totally my bad. I apologize. I don't want you, whatever you spent for the thermostat, I'll give you the money. And I said, don't worry about it. The guy even offered me his work van, by the way, to drive down to York to get it. And I said, no, don't worry about it, man. We're cool. You know what I mean? I'm not that type of guy. So it was cool. I got it fixed. Yes, I was tired. Luckily, all he had to pay was for the part. He didn't have to do free labor on top. I took care of it. And I was cool. I wasn't upset. I didn't lose a day of work, and I was able to take care of it. I just don't like going to people and, like saying, hey, man, like you guys did this for me. You guys broke this. You know what I mean? Like that's money he had to put out of his pocket. Which was unnecessary. But, hey, the mechanic he had was not skilled. He didn't know what he was doing. And there's nothing I could do about that. Luckily, the guy's honest. And the mechanic told him, that he tapped on it. And, my guy was like, look, I apologize. This is not who I am. And I'm like, look, dude, I've been dealing with you for over 4 years. I know what kind of person you are. We're good. That's why I don't trust dealers. No, I need a one-on-one person that I need to know who you are. We need to have a conversation. He's my friend on Facebook. He texts me all the time. We're real good friends. But I met him just in the shop. It's not like we were friends. No, I met him at the shop, and ever since he worked on my truck for the first time, we became friends, and I trust him. I can leave my truck in there and be gone for a week and know that nothing's he's going to take care of everything. Just like now we had this little hiccup, but he took care of it like a gentleman, and I respect him for that. Like you would not believe. And the very next day, I ended up taking the truck to him anyway because I wanted something done with my springs. Like, I wanted my truck lowered a little bit. I wanted to lower it like 2 inches. And he took care of it for me the following next day with no problem. So we're cool. That's why I always tell people, stay away from them dealers and TAs and all that stuff. They ain't going to back up nothing. I need somebody that's going to be there, is going to be honest, and is going to tell me, look, I broke this. This is how it happened. I'm sorry. Should they have told me when I first picked up the truck? Yes. But I don't think they realized that they cracked that thing once they put the bolt in. Should they have told me anyway? Yes. Because I could have made the decision, should I want you guys to make a new thread, or should I go buy that part? You know what I mean? But hey, it's all miscommunication, but we got it straight. The truck is running perfect. Back on the grind, making money. And that's what it is. That's all part of being an owner-operator. That's it's part of the package. You got to fix it. You got to spend some money. You got to spend money to make money. That's just the way it is, But I'm going to jump around. I just wanted to do a little quick update and, people understand what it is to have a truck. It's, it's always something. Like that day, I clocked off at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't have to be in to the next day till 3:30, so that gave me a plenty of off-duty time. But I didn't have off-duty time. I was working on my truck. I was turning wrenches all the way to 11:30 at night. I got 3.5 hours sleep. I was smelling like antifreeze for like 3 days because that crap stays in my hand. But I'm used to it, you know? I'm used to it. I'm used to it. It's nothing to me anymore. But we stay on the grind. We stay blessed. And that's just the way it is. So I just wanted to jump on here and do that. And, you know, hopefully I won't get so busy now and so lazy and make some videos here and there. So you people be safe out there. And this week is gonna be Thanksgiving, so I hope everybody enjoys that. I'll probably be back on here before that. And that's it. See you guys.